Why poetry? Poetry matters because some things happen to us before we have language for them. Sometimes an experience is too big for a sentence, too layered for a report, too painful for a simple explanation. Sometimes we carry a story in the body long before we can say it aloud. That is where poetry begins. Poetry gives us a place to put what has happened. It can hold the memory, the question, the grief, the anger, the joy, the inheritance, the silence, and the hope. It can make room for the parts of our lives that do not fit neatly into forms, categories, or other people's expectations. For me, poetry is not only about beautiful words. It is a way of witnessing. It is narrative documentation. It is a record of what we saw, what we felt, what we survived, what we loved, and what we refused to forget. When someone tells their story through poetry, they are not simply describing the past. They are reclaiming the right to name it. They are saying, this happened, this mattered, I was here. Poetry can turn an individual experience into something shared. A poem written from one person's pain can become a hand held out to someone else. It can say, I do not know your exact story, but I recognize something of the feeling. And sometimes that recognition is where healing begins. Because healing is not always about forgetting. Sometimes healing is being able to tell the truth without disappearing inside it. Sometimes healing is finding words for what was once held in silence. Sometimes it is recognizing that the problem was never our capacity to feel deeply, to love deeply, to hope deeply, or to survive imperfectly. The problem was the harm. The problem was the injustice. The problem was the silence that asked us to carry what should have been named. Poetry can interrupt that silence. It can give shape to grief and make space for anger without letting anger become the whole story. It can honor the people who came before us, the places that formed us, the culture, rhythm, faith, memory, and language we carry forward. Poetry reminds us that we are connected to our ancestors, connected to our communities, connected to the natural world, connected to the sounds, patterns, and vibrations that move through life. Breath, heartbeat, music, speech, birdsong, rain, and the rhythm of our own voices. Words are not empty. Words carry energy. Words can wound, but they can also repair. They can reduce a person to a label, or they can return them to themselves. They can repeat an old story, or they can help us write a new one. That is why I write. That is why I speak. That is why poetry matters, because a poem can be a witness. A poem can be a bridge. A poem can be a place to rest. A poem can be a way back to yourself. And sometimes one honest line is enough to remind us our stories matter, our voices matter, we are still here. This is why poetry